I really appreciate this opportunity. It's a big privilege and honor to me. We are going to start our day with a panel that is going to have farmers. We want to hear from other farmers. Yesterday we heard of farmers who are involved in agroecology, and we saw that it is practical. We want to look at the impact of some of these hazardous pesticides that we are talking about and what farmers are doing, farmers that are already doing certain things. So allow me to invite our panelists for today, Mr. Isaac Njuguna. Mr. Isaac Njuguna is a farmer leader that works with an organization called Slow Food. Slow Food is a member of Pelham, Kenya, and he has been involved in farming for over 20 years, both commercial, where he was employed, and also as an individual farmer. Let's put our hands together as we invite Mr. Njuguna. Please, let's put our hands together. Thank you. Second, our second panelist is Caroline Atieno. Caroline Atieno is also a farmer leader that works with other farmers, especially women farmers, in agroecology through an approach that we call farmers research. This is an adoptive approach to doing agroecology where farmers do trials and adopt practices or technologies that help them adapt to climate change. So let's put our hands together as we welcome Caroline Atieno. Caroline, please. Our third panelist this morning is going to be Mr. Caleb Omolo. Caleb Omolo is also a farmer, that comes from Migori. He's trained in permaculture, regenerative agriculture. He's also a trainer and is also a practice farmer. So he trains farmers on some of these viable options that we have been talking about. So today, we are privileged to have these farmers, and they are going to share with us firsthand their experience in terms of interaction with some of these hazardous pesticides that we have been hearing about. And they are going to tell us whether there are other viable options that exist that they are trying to do and whether this is working. So let's once again just appreciate all of them before we start. Thank you. Let's just appreciate them, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll go through different sessions. I'll be asking them some questions and they'll be responding. Then I'll give them a session where they'll be sharing other experiences that may be relevant for today's session. I'm going to start with Mr. Njuguna, Isaac Njuguna, that has had some experience working for some of the commercial farms. In one of the farms, he was doing aerial spraying. He was involved in aerial spraying with the pilots, and he would also clean some of the areas that have been used for this. So we want to just hear a little bit, first of all, a little bit of his story. What, Mr. Njuguna, you will share with us what you are doing in that particular company, and maybe the moment you started feeling some effects, because you shared that you were affected. To what effect did you have, and what kind of protective gear were you using in that particular kind of work? I think we'll just use this mic because we have one.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes. Yes. I'm very happy because I'm alive today. Good that I'm alive. I'm a farmer from Gilgis County, Nakuru County. I'd like to say the issue of the use of pesticide, it is there. It is highly used. Though what I can say is that when we talk of the adverse effects of this herbicide and entirely the pesticides, you can avoid to your home, but maybe you may be misused. For instance, the way I can speak, use them in my farm. But at the place of employment, I was misused. I say that I was misused because I was enticed to clean those containers, to mix those chemicals. Some of them didn't have labels. And I was highly exposed to them. Some of them were highly obnoxious. I started feeling itching on my eyes, on the skin. I started sometimes even having nausea. But when I complained to the boss, I was intimidated to be sacked and was told the complaining and I was neglected. What happened is that all of a sudden, because I was exposed to chemicals, because we were spraying the chemicals using an aeroplane. And that aeroplane only had one, it is only the cockpit where you could be transported, only the pilot. So, like me, when I was to be transported, that tank, that big tank that we used to put the chemicals, that's where I was transported. Hallelujah. So, by that, because of that getting exposed in that tank where there is no aeration, before we come, for instance, we are coming from Nandi, Kericho, we are coming from Siaya. Before we land at Elementaita, you almost to suffocate. Hallelujah. So what happened eventually, all my skin peeled off. 100%. I was hospitalized for 2 months. Very acute situation. It was so severe. I lost my fingernails. Today, I don't have the finger and toenails. They are gone. And today is when I realized the importance of the nails. If you have the nails, praise God that you have the nails. Me, I don't have. I lost my vision. I can't see you the way I'm standing here as a result of exposure to those obnoxious chemicals. I was taken to the hospital. I was there for 2 months. Even before I recovered, they requested to take me to be discharged, that they will be taking me to for clinics, for reviews. But after the discharge, they terminated me from the workplace and they ceased to help me. So I was left that way. Only that I met a good Samaritan who helped me. So today I go through very challenging times because of that adverse, because there is those effects that are permanent, like vision. The physicians and the ophthalmologists were unable to reverse. What they only remained with is to warn me not to get exposed to such pesticides. I was completely banned by the physicians and the ophthalmologists not to get exposed to any of the pesticides. And that's when I went back to my farm and I started farming organically. Me, I cannot contact with any chemical. Even when I hear where the chemicals it is being used, I just run away. So that's how I acquired the disability. Because today I'm one of the people who have been registered as a person with a disability, visually impaired person. It has been very expensive. Since then, I have used millions and millions in treatment.
What we were talking about is real. Yesterday, when it was being narrated, it looked like something that would take years and years for it to be realized. Today, we have a real testimony in the house. I wanted to project to you the image of Mr. Njuguna before he started using chemicals, and you compare with the status now, so that we see that these hazardous pesticides that we are talking about have adverse effects on our lives. I don't know whether it's the light. That one that is on the wall is 1 year after he was removed. Actually, he was depending on life support machine for him to recover. He had recovered, and he recovered for 1 year. That's the status that he was. And as you've heard, he's lost his vision. He lost his skin. He lost his nails. There are things we take for granted until we lose. So the time to act is now. We have to take individual decisions back in our farms, back in our organizations, so that we move to the next level. We will take it further. We will project the images when we are ready, and you will be able to see that. Allow me to move to our second panelist. We'll come back to Mr. Njuguna later. I'm going to Caroline at Otieno. Caroline Otieno is one of the farmers who, having interacted with some of the hazardous pesticides, they sought for support from some NGOs who trained them, and they have started doing trials and adopting some of the viable options. So I want, Caroline, you to just explain for us, what are the current pesticide usage among farmers in your do they use these highly hazardous pesticides and in your area? And which viable alternatives do you and other farmers try out to avoid using some of these chemicals? Please take it.
Thank you very much. Good. Yeah. People are using pesticides because they are planting sugar kilo. Are using some pesticides like Roundup, and everyone knows what is Roundup. And Roundup is very harmful. That is being swept to our rivers. Our animals are very traps. But the alternative using me as an organic farmer, I'm proud, and I thank our organization CREP, because I'm working with the county. We learned more about biopesticides and biofertilizers, and by this time we only biopesticides. Biofertilizers are locally made. We made them ourselves. Like we are using Titonia, we are using spray to our vegetables and what they are.
So what we are getting is that there are viable alternatives that farmers have already started trying so that they avoid some of these hazardous pesticides. And this is something that we need to outscale and upscale so that the knowledge is well grasped and the farmers know where to use which kind of biopesticides. And as she has mentioned, they are also using a lot of biofertilizers. So it is possible for us to have viable options that will minimize impact to our health and to our environment. And we need to agree on how this can be done together. I'm going to go to the third panelist, who is Mr. Caleb Omolo. Caleb Omolo is a farmer from Migori County. We also work with him in other projects. He's trained in permaculture and regenerative agriculture. So, Mr. Omolo, what are some of the effects of the highly hazardous pesticides to farmers, health, agriculture, and even economy in your area, in your locality? What are some of these negative impacts that you've witnessed? Please.
In my so most were chemicals, and even now they're still. Hello, is that okay now? In Migori County, there's a large-scale farmers like Sony Soup. Like they're using the same Roundups and a lot of chemicals, like industrial chemicals, like for farming, like large scale. And industrial chemicals are really, really affecting our rivers all the way up to Lake Victoria, because most of it run off through the rivers up to Lake Victoria. But before I go there, I want to talk a little bit about my background. I'm an expert in permaculture, regenerative agriculture, and agroecology. So what I did to explain that, teach the that when you treat the soil right, you give it all the microbial. You get rid of all the pests and chemicals originated not long after First World War and Second World War. They were the remnants of leftover from the Second World War and First World War. So these multi-corporations, they didn't know what to do with them. So now they're using them to kill us and also to kill everything. So chemical use is killing the soil. When you use chemicals for farming, particularly like industrial fertilizers, they are bounded by salt base. And the salt killing bacteria, fungi. Fungi, you end up with dead soil, which creates hard pan. So the roots of the plants cannot go deep to mine. But in nature, like in permaculture and syntropic agroforestry, we teach people to work with nature. That means we work with bacteria and fungi. And when you enrich your soil, say it again? Yeah. When you when you work with nature and work with like we are doing, you enrich the soil. By enriching the soil, you don't need to use the pests, like pesticides and insecticide, because the soil works naturally, like in Kakamega forest. You see it green all the time. So that is what we're teaching our farmers, because when the world was started, it was started at Eden. So the world was a forest. So whenever you disturb the soil, it wants to go back to forest state. So the first thing is weeds. So weeds for us is very, very good, because it helps us and learn what is the next stage. So we teach the farmers how to treat the soil biologically by farming with bacteria and fungi, which uses sun energy. And sun energy works with the trees in a process called photosynthesis, where they get rid of carbon dioxide. Carbon goes into the roots, and the roots with bacteria and fungi gives it nutrients, go back. So when you farm like that, you don't need chemicals because the crops have natural immune system. And when they have so much photosynthesis, which is carbon going down, they become immune. And it's called Brix index. When the crops have so much sugar, no insect will go near them, except maybe bees it's tolerant, but any pest will die. And they're so green and healthy. So to cut the story short, let us use nature. Instead of working against nature, let's work with nature. Thank you.
Wow. Can we just appreciate our farmers? Farmers are not ignorant. Can we conclude that from what we've had? Farmers are scientists. Farmers are researchers. Farmers are innovators. And we can see that it is possible. It's possible to work with nature. We need to change our agriculture so that it works with nature and not against nature. Thank you very much. I'll go back to Mr. Isaac Njuguna. He's shared with us what he went through. Mr. Njuguna, at this juncture, I want you to just narrate to us. There's a picture here. I don't know whether you can see it. At the back, can you see it? This is Mr. Isaac Njuguna 1 year after he was removed from a life support machine. And he shared with me that at some point, actually, the situation was hopeless. They were almost deciding to switch off the life support machine because it looked like it was a waste of time and resources. That is a state that using highly hazardous pesticides can get us. And we need to act now. Mr. Njuguna, thank you for sharing. I would request you to take. So this first picture, this is a picture of Mr. Njuguna before he started using the hazardous pesticides. You've seen the second picture. It's not very clear because of the light. This is a second picture 1 year after he had been removed from the life support scheme. He tells me his skin had started growing back, his nails a little bit, and you can see, but he did not survive it wholly. As he's told you, he cannot be able to see. He does not have nails. There are work that in the farm you need nails to do. There are foods that when you are eating, you need nails. Hello? Hello. Are we following? So this thing can impact your life negatively. Mr. Njuguna, kindly just take us through what happened at the level where you found that, what was your exact state and what did you go through in terms of treatment and the legal battle, just in brief, so that we know how the experience has been.
Okay, thank you. Once again, I would like to say that when I was at the place, when I was contacting with the chemicals, there is those immediate reactions that I experienced, like the itching, like I have said, the nausea, vomiting. Then it gradually, when I became very, when before it became worse, that I had notified the boss company. I had started feeling the use of these chemicals, but it was neglected. But when it came worse, they are the ones who took me to the hospital. And God is good. They wrote the letter. The hospital was admitted that I'm their employee I have been using the chemicals. I've been exposed to chemicals. So they do the diagnosis, they treat me, and then they repay the bill. But when I was at the hospital, they tried to change the story because they saw it was worse. And they tried to take me out of the hospital. That bring stories that I was bewitched. That's what they tried. They tried bringing those people from the agrochemical to interfere with the evidence. But after a time, when I was discharged from the hospital, still in critical condition, they terminated me at the workplace, and I was chased away, and they told me that I go. They have used a lot of money to pay for my. A good Samaritan came, he assisted me. Even the labor office assisted me. I happened to meet a very uncompromised lawyer who take me through this. They came and they defended highly. So they didn't want me. I was even intimidated not to speak about that. But the more I was intimidated, the more I could talk. Hallelujah. Yes. So it took a time, but eventually they were found liable. That because of the investigation that was done at the place of work, the investigation came out. There was those chemicals. I was exposed. I was not given the protective gears. I was transported in that tank. Imagine in that tank on the air, where they are. So that's what even caused me to have all those challenges and difficulties. I was even unable to breathe. By the time that day by the time the airplanes landed at the airstrip, I even come out of that tank. I was removed and I suffocated because of those chemicals. Very harmful. And when the skin was peeling, it was very acute. I went through a lot of pain, even during the healing process. But eventually, the physicians who were treating me, I went almost in every hospitals in Kenya that are known could treat that. But they told me, though I have recovered, managing that situation up to death, according to them, it is very expensive. And they were unable to reverse some. So that's what happened. And when I went back to my village, that's when I started sensitizing people on the dangers of. And I started teaching people on how they can use alternatives instead of using the chemicals, those pesticides. Because when I was to teach them with my life experience, they could see the reality. Because even here, when people they are told that they can have they can be damaged, they can have the injury, not unless they see a person who has gone through that, who is giving a personal testimony, they will not believe. But I tell people, they believe. When I was hospitalized, people are coming, and this person who has peeled the whole skin, and the flesh was coming out. Where I was hospitalized on the bed, every morning they could correct some flesh and skins that were peeling off because of that chemicals. So today I advocacy through I'm an ambassador of slow food, that people can use alternatives. If it is the use of those herbicides, instead of using them to kill the grass and what, they can use even dry matters or to cover the ground. When you cover the ground with the dry matters and that they decay there, all that grass and the other weeds, it will dry and they will decompose and increase the soil fertility.
Wow.
Yes. That's what I've been doing currently. I'm advocating for that, and I've been telling people, I've gone through, and what I went through, I would not like to see my brother, my sister, you going through that situation.
Wow.
Because it is a very serious, and it is very expensive even to manage. For instance, coming here, I need a guide. You know, it is very expensive. Some areas you cannot go alone. You need somebody to guide you. You see? So you double your expenditure. You see? Because of the use of this pesticide. The adverse effects, they are more than the benefit. There is no benefit you can get from that. I can say that for sure.
Wow.
But God is good. The termination of the legal process was done permanently, and it was evidence that there was negligence, there was those chemicals, and they were penalized.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's just appreciate Mr. Njuguna once again. Most of us wait until we see the evidence. In the Bible, there is a story of a man called Lazarus and a rich man. The Bible talks of life. Lazarus would sit at the gate of that man waiting for crumbs to fall. But when they went to heaven, Lazarus was on one part of heaven, the other one was on the other part. And the rich man would say, send someone to my brothers so that they know. Today, God has sent someone to speak to you so that you know that it is not the red tomatoes that you need to pick. I hope that drives the message home. We've gotten that. We want to hear at the small scale level where maybe they've not seen the adverse effects, but they've heard and they've thought, they've seen it to a little level. Caroline, I want you to share with us from those options that you have been trying. Tell us, are they working? And which ones are farmers adopting? And what can be done so that more farmers are aware and adopt some of these practices? Please.
Thank you. These biopesticides we are using, people mostly adopted them because they are not harmful. They are organically made. People are mostly adopted them, and they are using very well. We are using them very well, and they are very effective. As we are using biofertilizer named Tithonia, we spray Tithonia to our vegetables and even the maize, and they are not killing, but they scare them. In organic farming, we don't kill, and we just want to scare them, not to affect our crops. But Tithonia we are using it very well, and it is good in farming. We are also using ash brew. Ash brew we made from ash and soap, and it is very well used, and it's very effective. So many people adopted these biofertilizers and biofertilizers. And in organic farming, we are using biofertilizers like manure. We are training more people about this manure and compost manure. We have the other one known as bokasi. We have garden compost, and most people adopted them. And they are normally using those fertilizers, those biofertilizers. And in our area, in my community or groups, most members of our groups nowadays are not using even pesticides. They are organically farmers. Everything, they are even planting vegetables, planting maize, we are using organics. We are not using chemicals. And I'm very proud of our NGOs because they normally work everywhere in our community with us together to teach the community about the goodness of these biofertilizers and organics. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate her. So even at the small farmer level, things are working. But it takes effort, it takes sensitization, it takes doing trials with them so that they see the efficacy of some of these biopesticides. And with that, if there is sustained awareness creation and education, then more and more farmers adopt. The gap that is still there is with the consumers. Caleb, yes, we've shared a lot in terms of what the effects are, what the farmers are doing, even at your level. Now, what is the gap now that needs to be bridged, especially so that the consumers also become aware? Because, you know, the consumers dictate also what the farmers produce, what should be done at the consumer level, and what should be done by the actors that are here, so that we can be able to avoid using this highly hazardous pesticide. Please.
Yeah, besides the multi-corporations like selling us this really, really toxic chemicals, the alternative is so cheap, like my sister just stated. It is so easy, and they're locally available, they're biodegradable, and they're everywhere. And also, we have what you call beneficial insects, okay, which you can integrate. And then we have plants which repel insects. So, like I said, when you follow nature, there are stages. You know, the stages are called succession. So, the first stage is like a lot of weed. So that's where like a lot of chemicals are used. But we have different pest management. Like you can get the cycle of these insects when they're like really, really dangerous, and you know, get rid of them by using biopest management. So the first year or the first season is very, very rough. But like now, there's for maize, there's what you call armyworm, which is like they're using a lot of bad chemicals. But based on my experiment, I just sprayed water to my maize, and within 2 days, I didn't see them. So some of the integrated pest management we are using are like so cheap and locally available. And when you talk to indigenous farmers, like I'm from Rongo near Kisii area, where most women are over 100 years, and they don't use any chemicals. But I was like, say, why? Like, when did your husband die? He said, oh, 20, 30 years ago. Why is he still alive? And then I watched what they eat. You find they have avocado, they have banana, they have pumpkin, they have indigenous vegetables, which a lot of us, which are educated like me, thinks that, you know, poor man's food. But those poor man's food are very, very dense in nutrition. So besides pests, we need to go back to eating indigenous food, which are like resistant to pests, because they are like, you know, nature takes care of itself. Like I said, when you study nature and you work with nature, you see what works. Okay, so besides integrated pest management like onions and other things, you can also, you know, farm with you know, in your farm, you can integrate many beneficial fruits and vegetables which works with one another. And also, but the most important thing is soil health. If you take care of bacteria and fungi, which there are like 4 types, like bacteria, fungi, nematode, and arthropod. Arthropod and nematode are the ones which eat bacteria and fungi, and their waste is what is nutrients for the plant and which is nutrients for us. So for me, the best fertilizer is earthworm vermicompost, because it eats a lot of bacteria and fungi, and his waste is like super, super, super nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's just appreciate him. Thank you so much. At this juncture, I want to open it up so that if we have questions or comments, we can bring them. So I'm going to take like 3, 4 questions. And so if the other mic can be taken to the plenary, if you have, then maybe you have a question or a comment, just raise up your hand so that we engage. Okay, you'll be number 1, number 2, number 3. So 1 is there. Who has the mic? Yeah. Thank you. Let's take first. So state, if the question is directed to one panelist, you can state the panelist.
Actually, mine is a comment. My name is Samuel Wadome. I'm a farmer from Machakos. Yeah, I'm a farmer from Machakos. My name is Samuel Wadome. So practice agroecology. And I have a concern, even as we're talking about the chemicals and all that. I was one of the pioneers working for FAO in 2018, 2014. We introduced, when FAO was introducing conservation agriculture. But I later converted to agroecology. A lot of money was used that time by the government, both the county government and the national government, and even money from FAO. But what really scares me is that now we have a very safe model of farming, agroecology, and no one wants to fund it. Then my question is, even as we talk of the alternatives, there are people out in the field, the extension officers. The extension officers we have been compromised. Every planting season, they are moving around the villages, telling farmers the seeds to buy and the chemicals to buy. Don't you think we have a big fight before us?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So two big questions for all of us. Why is there support for agroecology that is limited? And two, our agricultural extension is being compromised to promote the hazardous pesticides. That's a question for all of us. Or is it their training? Number two, you can take it.
Well, thank you so much. I was feeling so sad when I listened to the story of the gentleman right there. Now, learning from South Africa, they have set up something called the People's Tribunal. People's Tribunal is to get such cases, and we give them a platform to speak their problems amidst, they invite the government and the chief justice and whatever to listen to these cases so that such people can get justice. So I think that as a region, we could also learn from that kind of intervention in South Africa. How do we in our countries, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, have these people who have been affected and give them platforms such as this, but with government officials to listen to them, and actually maybe that would help to bring the message home. I think that is one thing that we can think about as one of the actions as a region. And then it also reminded me to share with you this, one of the labels on chloropyrifos. When you check the label there, there is, they highlight the symptoms that you're going to face when you actually apply. And they put their symptoms of the poisoning that it can bring, and they put headache, nausea, tiredness, vomiting, and others, they will even put respiratory issues. But down there, they also provide the antidote that when you have this poisoning, when you go to the hospital, you need to go and they have to use a particular antidote. They even indicate it on the label, meaning that they are aware of what is likely to happen. But then they put a disclaimer down there that the information and data contained herein are believed to be correct and are given in good faith. However, no liability is accepted. So meaning that if a farmer got these challenges, liability is on you, not the industry. So I think also we need to find a way of how do we hold these guys accountable, even when they have labeled this way. So I think it is up to us now as advocates to think about these other provisions that we can actually take. If it were possible, we even sue them immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very powerful questions there. Model in South Africa, People's Tribunal. Can we have it in our countries, especially East African countries? And they sell poison, and they also sell, but they don't take liability. Surely, is that fair? So those are questions. Generally, maybe the panelists or anyone will also take. You'll come number 4. There's a number 3, then I'll come to you. Okay, please. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Brian.
Close. Make the mic.
Good morning. My name is Tony Brown, and I'm a scholar anthropology. So mine is a recommendation, and then it's an insight between Caroline and Caleb. So I wanted to hear, is this evidence you're giving, are they in form of narrative? Can they be incorporated? Because we live in an era of AI and technology. So my request is, are there evidence based from the farmer on narrative that can be easily incorporated with the current technology? Because there are farmers maybe from this part of, let's say, Migori County, because this evidence can be used by other farmers maybe in part of Kisumu County. So are there this narrative in form of evidence that are only solely the voice of these farmers, so that can be incorporated from these other farmers, maybe in Kisumu County? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, you've heard that in terms of documentation, sharing, so that the knowledge, do we document the findings? Is there validation of those findings so that it can be documented and shared? Number 4, yes. You can give it the mic. Yeah, please.
Is it going to work? Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm Lindo Kat from Businga Island. I have a small eco lodge, and I really appreciate the battle that is going to take place, and it's going to take a while. And we need all these young people and AI and all of their help to make all these things happen. But while we're waiting for all these things to happen, I'm not working. Am I working? Yeah? Now I'm working. I don't need to repeat, yeah?
Just repeat for the effect.
Okay.
Please.
While we are waiting for these changes to happen, and I appreciate all these young people, and I appreciate the AI and all their energy, and I hope they will keep fighting for us, because I'm an old person. I don't have a lot of time to fight it. But we need to keep working on our own personal level to make our own farming, our own gardening, our own eating be safe, and to share as much knowledge as we have with everybody, so that they can see what we're doing, so they can see how you can do it. I have a small organic garden. I'm doing composting. I've had banana circles. I've had compost bananas. I've had all sorts of different things that I'm doing. We don't use any chemicals. We don't use any fertilizer. We have lovely vegetables, lettuce, and all kinds of things. And I'm proud of what I can grow. But I can't grow everything. So I think we need to keep all working and learning and go to the resources we have and learn to do what we can do and share. We have to teach each other. We have to give the food free to people so they know what it is we're talking about, and help the young folks get those fights going, because we need them, their energy and their intelligence and their knowledge. So that's my statement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Young people, you are needed in this battle, and you need to help in disseminating this information. I'm going to take another round of 3 questions. You'll be number 5, 6, 7, 7. Okay, please.
Morning, everyone. My name is Francis Ngiri from Nakuru. When I hear the story of Mr. Isaac Jogona, I feel Mr. Jogona's testimony is just one among so many informations around there. And if there is an outbreak, maybe of cholera, typhoid, anywhere, we hear a lot of information of the Ministry of Health announcing and even putting is it curfew? What was put during Corona time? Such things, measures. And this information about pesticide affecting farmers is rampant. The Minister of Health or the doctors are the one who treated Mr. Jogona and others. Yet they conceal the information. They don't want to say what's happening Why do you think? Is it a conspiracy between Minister of Health, the government, and those agrochemicals, or why? Why can this information be? Mr. Jogona has to travel all the way from Nakuru to come and testify. Yet there is information somewhere. There is a data somewhere, which, if compiled, we can see the status of pesticide menace in our East African region. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a question for all of us. Why is the government silent, yet they know about these harmful effects of some of these hazards? Yes?
Yeah, thank you again for all the presenters' information they shared. That's very useful. Mine is two simple questions. I'll start with the one example. When I moved to the US, the seatbelt law was not a law. You could drive without a seatbelt on. But they started teaching children at kindergarten that it's wrong, very, very wrong, and very dangerous for you to drive your car without having a seatbelt on. Since then, my children would not let me drive off the driveway, not even on the street. They stop me, all of them, two of my children. They say, no, Dad. I say, let me start driving while I'm finishing this, and I'll put on the seatbelt. Say, no. Put your seatbelt on before you drive the car. So I observe that as a very, very powerful tool of using children to cause social change. Smoking is the same thing. When I moved to the US, you could smoke everywhere. But they taught children, and you have to move to a place. You can't just smoke in somebody's house. You have to move outside to designated smoking area. So I'm simply suggesting this and asking this question. If we are so interested in having a better food system, wouldn't it be wise to start teaching children in all grade schools, starting with kindergarten, not to eat candy, not to eat pizza, not to eat smokies, because these are dangerous to the well-being and vitality of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Very powerful self-reflection on this, and starting with the children. At that level, if they catch it, it's difficult for them to lose it. The last one, there was one last comment before we come back. Yes, here. Bring the mic here.
Thank you so much. My name is Kedi Justa, and I work with Biodiversity and Association of Kenya. Jeff just read my mind, because from the case of our brother there, it is so hard, especially when someone knows very well, maybe out of ignorance, they got affected the way he is affected. And I'm asking myself, if we have several cases at our own areas, maybe we know one or two people also who have been affected. Because I've realized most of the advocacy work that we do in silos. But when we have these cases of victims together and voicing together, the voice will be louder than the way we think about it. Chef just said that about change. Change doesn't start from outside. It starts from ourselves. And when we are advocating or we are promoting agroecology and these, the organic farming practices, if we start in our own areas, in our own houses, even before going to farmers out there to teach them, if you can start from where you are, the simple things that you eat, the breakfast that we eat. Yesterday I was asking someone that now that we have been going to hotels, how many people have ever asked the hotel that we are giving this contract, if you are not going to cook organic food, I'm not bringing my forum there? How many people have ever said that? But we just procure. You just give menu. But you don't ask whether what is going to be cooked there is organic. Can we have such conditions? When you are giving an hotel, any hotel, a contract or service, can you have your condition? And you say that I'm not going to bring my people there if I'm not sure of the food you are going to cook. So funny, we are going to hotels and we are the ones who are taking sonders. Sure, we are the ones who are taking sonders there.
Very true.
Yes, I've even observed in every hotel that we have gone. You are taking sodas and we are advocating for safe food. We are taking other kind of processed food and the ones we are advocating for it. We should think how we are working ourselves. Have we changed ourselves? Are we taking what we are preaching? Thank you.
Thank you. Powerful. Very powerful. Christy, next time our procurement officer should give conditions for us to go to any place. I think that's very powerful. You are part of the solution and you can be part of the problem. So you need to start with you. I want to come back to the panelists so that any question that maybe they can respond to or any comment, they can before we wrap up this session. Yeah. So I'll start with Mr. Njuguna. We'll come. Yeah. Any question that you had or any comment that you'd wish to respond to from what is there? Most of them have been comments, and maybe it's for all of us. I'll also go to the plenary if someone has any parting shot.
Thank you. I would like to say that as the last sister who has commented here, it's true that the changes has to start with us. The way I myself where I've been sensitizing people, I've been doing that even through the schools, as our brother had said there, even to children's. Because what we eat is not what we grow, or we grow what we cannot eat. Get even a farmer who grows organically, but he sells all of them and buys outside what the farmer don't know how all that food has been prepared. So, of eating what we have grown farms. Also, let us be ministering issue. When we say that, for instance, I myself, when I go to the chief's barazas, when I go to any forum that I come across, I take that opportunity to sensitize people. And I don't allow that the issue of organic, issue of safe food to come as an AOB. Because most of the time you will find that the airtime will be given to will not help us. But when we are concluding, that's when you say, there is an AOB, somebody here will talk about organic farming. And at that time they say, we don't need an AOB because an AOB is another business, and that other business is a bad business. So we need to mainstream what we are talking here. It is not as a by the way. We need to take it mainly talking about health eating chemical-free food in our schools, training our children, because you will be a parent who is advocating for safe food, buying to his or her child the fast food, and taking that child out. You'll go to eat chipo and other fast foods, and that parent is the one who is advocating for that. So that child will grow not knowing what is happening. But when we start training our young people, I will concur with that. I will agree with that we need to train people while they are young. And any opportunity we get, let's train our people. For instance, even in the social media, a lot of even to those pesticides. But when you seek an airtime to talk about, you are given just a very slight chance. So let us concert our efforts. Unity is strength. Like me, I have come from that place. I know there are other people who are being humiliated there. But many people are in fear of legal consequences that may come. But me, I don't fear, because already I know when you fear, you live in poverty. Let us not be intimidated, because I know when you come out to speak about that, you'll be intimidated. Those big companies, they will come together. I have that experience through my case. When I reported how they came, how they concerted their efforts, and how they tried to interfere with the evidence. But they were. So even the doctors, if some may be the way you are saying, they have the evidence, they have the reports. They are the ones who do the diagnosis. We have the occupational health laboratories in the government. I was taken there. All the diagnosis, all the investigations were done, and they came out with their findings. But most of the time, they are being compromised. But on my case, I'm happy they were not compromised. But there is a lot of challenges. But when we come together, when we concert efforts, all those people, we come together and we air that. We tell people, we speak it with loud voice. Then we will come through, we will maneuver on that. So on my side, I will comment on that unity is strength. Let us come together. Let's advocate on that. And let us not be intimidated. Let me stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Unity is strength. You've had the multinationals that promote or produces came together to support the case. Do we go and stand with our fellow farmers? As NGOs, civil society organizations, do we get into the cases so that we support the farmers and the community? We need to do that. Caroline, the opportunity is yours. Respond to any question and any comment that could be there so that we take this to the next level. Karibu.
I want to answer the question of someone who asked if our extension officers are the ones who are promoting the use of this pesticide.
Close, microphone close.
I want to answer the questions of the person who asked that our extension officers are the ones who are promoting the use of these pesticides. I can say it is yes, because they are the one being taught the people about the use of these pesticides. But I can say this. In our area, in any forum of farmers, we call all the stakeholders, even the extension officers, and we convince them about organic farming. And we told them about the effects of these pesticides. And they know, they are human beings as us. They know the effects of these pesticides. And I don't know if they are tight or what they can do, because they are in government, but we are with NGO. But they are very well convinced, and they come to our areas in our farms to learn more about organic farming, because they know that they are all in at risk by using these pesticides. And it is useful for them to teach other farmers to use this pesticide. But they are being convinced by our other farmers who are in Research Farmers Network to use the biopesticides and biofertilizers. And they are nowadays, even in Eco Funds, they are promoting more fertilizers to our biopesticides. And one time they called me to their forum and asked me, Caroline, how are you using these biopesticides? And I taught the whole group about the use of biofertilizers and biopesticides. And most people are turning back because they have seen the effects of these pesticides. Even our extension officers, they come slowly by slowly, they come to our village, ask how we are using these pesticides, biopesticides. And they are well convinced. Even our assistant chiefs, if they have forum, they call us to share what we have in our mind of use of these biofertilizers. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Let's appreciate her. So it's possible for us to influence the perceptions, the attitudes of the government extension workers. It is possible for them to learn from the farmers and also be our ambassador. So we need to have deliberate actions on that. And as an organization, actually, we do that deliberately. Mr. Caleb, Please take it.
Yes, there's something I forgot, which a lot of people are asking, like this biocomplete or biopesticides. How can they use large scale? Because you know when you use industrial chemicals, there you just use like a teaspoon, so you can cover large area. But for us, the alternative of using this biocomplete compost is you make liquid foliar, and then you use a chisel or a peg. When you're doing it, you use a peg and then you put it on the root system to go really deep. Because and it's very important to it's called mulching. In permaculture and syntropic agroforestry, which I teach, we bacteria and fungi by mulching. We mimic nature. When you see like avocado or mango, you see they are feeding the bacteria and fungi. So for us, for the biocomposite, right, because they don't like exposure to the sun, they all become dormant or die. So you go back to dead soil. So you really need to do mulching. So what we use is two grasses, vetiver grass and Mombasa grass. And also we help the trees by pruning and it's called chop and drop. So that we turn the succession very fast. So the first year is rough, but the second year we are almost reaching where the pH value of the soil is reaching the forest stage, so that you won't need to spray anything. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Gordon Owino. I'm an environmental studies
Close
graduate.
to your mouth, please. We can't hear.
Gordon Owino, environmental studies graduate. And right now I'm doing farming. I'm doing vegetable farming. I wanted to, it's just a comment on Caroline. Okay, there's an organization who came to our place where we do farming, and they were advising us to use the biopesticide and biofertilizers. The only problem that we have with those is that they are cumbersome to use. They are very tiresome to use them, because like the biofertilizer, they wanted us in a lifetime of maize plant, they wanted us to use it almost 7 times. That is within 3 months. And you see these other conventional chemicals, you can just apply them once. So that is also, if you can put it in a way that it make work easier for us as farmers to use them, it can be good. Another thing also, when it comes to dissemination of information, more so like the use of HHPs to farmers, because what I see down there, they don't know the effect of them, and it's very severe. We are able in our group, what we are doing, we are trying to sensitize the other farmers, we are trying to teach them. But another problem, the resources to do that becomes a problem for us to get. For Mr. Yuguna, I'm so sorry for what you underwent, and I don't know whether the company is still there. I don't know if any action has been taken by the government, but it's so bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think the question is clear. Use of biofertilizer, cumbersome, tedious. Maybe some people say use of that in large acreage is difficult, but yesterday we had a testimony. There are different approaches, and Esther, maybe you can also comment on that as you give your question or comment, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Esther Beck. I'm the Executive Director of Kenya. I'll be making a presentation later on, but I want to add to what the farmers have said.
Put the mic close to your mouth, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I can repeat. My name is Esther Beck. I'm the Executive Director of Kenya. And I want to add to what the farmers have said. Use of biofertilizers and making of biofertilizers and understanding how it relates to nature. The principle of vision. Sometimes we go with those biofertilizers, we tell farmers use them, but we don't realize that the farmers don't understand. The chemical fertilizer, you will repeat using the same chemical, and the production will go down. Toxicity of the chemicals you use will increase by the years. The beauty about bio-input and biofertilizer are that it's cumbersome and inoculant. It remains in the work on the soil to make it natural to become like forest soil. So the first 2 years will be cumbersome, but by the third year, you might not even need to add anything, and the soil is going to be natural. The biggest challenge we have is that farmers want it to be easy to apply. Nothing is easy. There is a cartoon I saw where rabbits and birds were looking at the man spraying and saying, man is a very interesting person. They spray chemicals on these crops so that we don't eat it. But they go ahead and eat it themselves. So we are committing suicide bit by bit.
Then we'll come to you. Okay, just go on then. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Lulu Tesua, and I'm a PhD student, a beneficiary of the Anthem project. It was really interesting hearing Mr. Isaac speaking about his experience, because when I was doing my field work, I had the same story about the aero spraying. In this place that I was working in early 2000s, like in 2001, there was a bed pest, like they call them bed pests. It was a crisis, so they had to call the government to intervene, and they sprayed in the places where these birds sleep. So they died. A lot of them died. The targeted species and even the non-targeted species died. But then the interesting story about this was how these people talk about the people who sprayed, like who were the people who sprayed. So they are the people who were coming from another town in Moshi, just nearby. And they had that only a few, maybe months after they sprayed, all those people died. 3 of them died. So after they died, the story, now the rumor that came back, and the myth, and maybe the truth, or I don't know, but that's what people say. So they say that those people died, the sprayers died, because the ancestors were angry, because birds are not supposed to be killed. Birds are supposed to be like just live in the forest peacefully. So like maybe there could be other measures. Maybe they could have consulted the ancestors, and the birds could just be chased away, and they could have been dealt with that way. So they're like, what they are saying is like they have their own traditional ways and the traditional knowledge of dealing with that, but it just gives them that time. But maybe if the elders were consulted seriously, things would have been different. So what I wanted to say is, anyway, to wrap up what we were talking about the agroecology and all these alternatives of agriculture, is that all of us have talked about a lot, but we're not talking about the forests. So the point of the people in this place that I was working in is that it's just the ecological disturbance. Like maybe we should think of the forest. Today, Nganga is not in the panel, but I wish she was, because you have like 60 acres of these, or now you have hundreds, you say. Yeah? Yeah, thousands. So I was wondering, do you have forests? Like, what do you think of the forest? Because it's almost another monoculture, like, not having trees, not having forests nearby. Like, where are these species, like birds and everything else, which need the forest? Where do they go? Like, if you have 1,000 plain land. Yeah, so what I want to say is, when you are talking about all these alternatives, we should also talk about how to restore the ecology, the order. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a powerful. Let's appreciate that. Yeah, as take it behind there. I wish just to point out that I know most of the farmers here promote what we call food forests and agroforestry, and it's part of this. It's only that maybe for the purposes of this, we are focusing more on pests and disease management, but I know that's a critical part. Yeah, thank you. Take it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Jehu Nyawara. I'm a beneficiary of University of Aga Khan, mainly dealing with herbal medicine. And I'm here maybe as herbalist and as a farmer. I've not heard anybody talking about herbal medicine. And this is part of farming that many people have really neglected. I want to take a unique version because my area of what I want to talk about is farming, but generally I don't want to go herbal. People would not like herbal, but I would call it supplement. At the moment, we are currently dealing with a product which has been originated from banana. I keep on hearing banana, banana, banana. And why I got interested is that we are developing the product out of a plant which is not a beneficiary of pesticides. From the anthropological point of view, we go cultural, you go economic, you go social, you find that it really benefits. We are producing what is called banana pseudostem juice. It is healthy. It's very good in various health aspects, especially arthritis, blood pressure, detoxification, and so many. It regulates and brings back to normalcy when you have blood pressure, or if you have arthritis, to simply stand up and walk. It does not take periods. It's a matter of few days, then you see the results. And it also clears fibroids in our body system and kidney stones. This is confirmed. I'm a beneficiary of FAO, Kiridi, Carro, and I would say that I've really gained a lot from tours with anthropologists in various sectors. I have a sample which I'll show you of the juice I'm talking about. It is really made from banana stem, and it's just a juice as such. We call it a supplement. It can also be herbal.
Thank you.
If you see it, maybe just not take your time. We have three types of sharing with you. Maybe you can talk about it later. This is the original. This is the original pulp from the stem, and this is how it looks like. We'll talk details later.
Okay.
This is the same, but the only addition on this is the banana peel and the fiber from the peel. That makes it yellow. And this one is simply having an additional of beetroot. This is a natural, very, very natural. And how we get the banana pseudostem, which is perfectly done, we use urine from rabbits. So that is what we use. The reason is we have a lot of potassium, magnesium, and zinc from the same. And from the soil, we get very strong capacity of potassium, zinc, and magnesium, which helps us to come to this. Lastly, we realized during our research, this is one of the products that we use to clear COVID. It washes the system clearly. And one main issue why we came to this, we were fighting with the bees. When the bees go to the banana, they rush to the blossom of the banana and get the nectar from the flower of the blossom. We now get the product that form up the nectar from the stem of the banana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think anyone who is interested can get time. Let's appreciate him for sharing that. I thought that he had enough samples for us to take during lunch instead of the soda. But we will discuss that over tea break. Okay, thank you. I think our panelists, I'm just going to give you a minute each to wrap up your parting shot. 1 minute, please, because we are already past time. Please.
Okay, let me finish strong. Yes, I would like to finish by saying this. In a biblical quote, Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 5, Paul said, our preaching, the word that we brought to you was not just a word. It had power. It was convincing. It was impacting. So what we are going to teach there, let it have a conviction power to convert those people so that they embrace the organic farming. This is the reason why I'm saying this. If you embrace it and your neighbor is practicing opposite of what you are doing, it is like a person who is not smoking a cigarette and is living in the same room, not well ventilated, prejudicing that me, I don't smoke, me, I don't smoke, but you are living with somebody who is smoking.
Wow.
It will affect you.
Wow.
So if we are not going to ensure that our gospel that we are preaching there is not convincing, is not changing, even if you practice. For instance, you have a beehive, you have bee in your farm. They will die from your neighbor if your neighbor is using the chemicals.
Thank you.
So let us convert even our neighbors. So our gospel, let it be, have impact. Let us walk with the talk as from now.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Let's just appreciate that wrap up, powerful wrap up. Caroline, 1 minute, please.
Thank you. And to conclude with is this: let us feed the soil so that the soil feed us. Let us not kill or do harm, but to restore soil. Thank you.
Wow. Very powerful. You just say amen. Say amen. Good.
Yeah, what I want to conclude with is let us follow nature. Let's not work against nature. Like for me, I live by example. I asked my mom to give me the worst land where we was farming sugarcane for many, many years. And she said, okay, this one. It was a 3/4 of an acre. I turned it into a large food forest. And then from what I learned there, now my ancestral land, we are like 7 of us. I was given 3 acres. Is all food forest.
Wow.
Okay? So I just don't talk, but seeing is believing. And when we're having lunch or whatever, have my number. When you come to Rongo, come and visit me, and I give you some fruits, honey, because I have a lot of pure honey.
Wow.
And as you know, coffee is the most sprayed commodity in the world. Mine is grown under forest. So I'm selling, it's called Rongo coffee. So I'm harnessing, I live with nature, I work with nature. When it rains, I go to nature and see how the water flows into my system. So all the energy, be it rain, the sun, I harvest it.
Thank you. Thank you.